I'm Kev Kerr, Mr. Kern. Yes, I am back after about a month, and yeah, in that month, of course, I went on that trip, as I said, to bury one of my family members, but I came back last Friday around this time. That's why I'm recording it around this time, and so yeah, I've been almost exactly a week back. Lots to catch up on, and there's been lots that's happened actually this week as well. And with the channel, while I've been away, some good things though for the channel. So firstly, let's recap the trip. And I was in the Philippines for 3 weeks to bury a family member, and that's basically what the trip was. It was just revolved around that funeral, and it happened at the end of the first week we were there. We were there for 3 weeks, and the build up to that was just, preparing, making sure everything was good for the funeral, and everything was. And my family member was actually a member of the army. They were for quite a long time before they retired. They were up to second lieutenant, and so yeah, we had a military funeral. So we had some soldiers, carrying the coffin and giving, a good 21 gun salute near the burial place. But firstly, yeah, the coffin was laid in state in the house for the week, since their death, and so for a couple of weeks before the funeral. And then the coffin was taken outside, and when it was outside it's held aloft, and then we walked underneath, and then the coffin was laid in state in the chapel across the street, and then we had a mass. And after we had the mass, we had a cool down session because it was very hot over there, and everyone was wearing like a piece of white, like a white shirt or white trousers. I was dressed all in white along with my mother, and yeah, that's just what you dress in. You wear white over there, it seems, or at least for this funeral. This is my first Filipino funeral, and it seems very different from what it was over here, from the funerals I've experienced over here. But after we cooled down, it was their last trip across town to their burial place, and then there again laid in state. And if you don't know what laid in state means, it means like the coffin's laid out, of course, and the person, there's like a lid, two halves. One lid was open. You can actually see the person in the coffin, and they're laying there. So yeah, at their burial place, we had the flag. The Filipino flag was draped over the top. That was given to a family member because, as I said, they're in the army. And then we had the 21 gun salute, and of course with the horn playing as well. And then they were buried, and yeah, that was it. That was it was a couple hours on the end of that week, but it was a very nice ceremony. And I'm not saying it's very nice to bury a family member, but it's a very nice ceremony. It was a very touching ceremony. It was. And yeah, that was the trip basically, that first week, because the next couple of weeks were just preparing for moving on with life afterwards, and just generally getting back into normal life. And by the time we had left at the end of the third week, it was back to normal ways again. It was normal life again. Kids were going back to school. It was the start of the school year, and that's all they showed on the news. It was all about shortages of pens and papers, or if anything would happen. But yeah, it's just back to normal again. So that was good to see. That was back to normal again, and everything was like prepared for when we left again. And everything was, it was good by the end. And it was a nice end to the trip, seeing loads of relatives as well, and seeing loads of family members I'd never seen, or family friends as well. So that was the good part to see. And it was very, very nice to see them, and very nice to socialise with people. I wouldn't normally socialise or see people, even if they didn't really speak good English, speaking English or not really interacting, but it was still good to see them. As I remember, one of my uncles said, this is the first time he's seen all of these family members and all the family together in all his years, and I think he's over 50, I think he is. So yeah, that's very good to see. You know, I got them all on video, I got them all on like photos, so yeah, I can always see them. And yeah, that was the trip. It was very nice. I don't want to say very nice, right? It's just very nice to see loads of family members and see everything that had moved on. As I think one of my friends said when I texted, it's like, yeah, death is a part of life. You know, it's one of those things you do have to deal with. You know, you try and deal with, and you try and move on from, and it's like everyone had moved on from it, and you know, everyone's feeling much better. I was feeling much better now as well. So yeah, I'm much better now than I was a month ago. And because the person died about a month ago, on the month anniversary, they have 9 days of prayer in the Philippines, so that's what they're doing at the moment. So yeah, that was the trip, and I'd just like to say thank you as well for all of the support and all of the comments, all of the nice messages I got, on that video when I announced that was gone. It was a bit overwhelming at that time, and yeah, I just want to say thank you to all those people who commented, who viewed, and who just showed support during that time. So yeah, that was very nice to see. And sometimes I find it hard to gauge the audience here on my channel, and that was very clear indication of my audience there. And it's great to see people sending their support and condolences to my family. So yeah, I thank you on their behalf, and I thank you on my behalf as well. So that was the trip, and while I was away on that trip, I passed 150 subscribers. So again, I would like to thank you for that. It's been a long time coming, and I don't know what to do for 150 subscribers, to be honest. And I think I might do a Q&A, because I haven't really revealed much of myself on this channel, and I thought it might be a good time, a good way to get to know me a bit more. So yeah, if you like the idea of that, put your comments in the comments below, put a question down below, or put a question on Twitter as well, at ElusiveKev as well, if you've got a question that you want to see in the Q&A, and then I'll record the video at the end of this month. So yeah, that's what I think I'll do for 150 subscribers. And also, when I was away, before I went away, I had applied for partnership, and I actually got a partnership with the RPM network. They accepted me while I was away, and I finally accepted it when I got back. So yeah, I'm now a partner with RPM, it seems. And there's lots of F1 and motorsport gaming commentators who have these, such as Alex Stock Xbox, Ryan L83 of a member, Alva Sync, and Termet Mart UK, Noble. Loads of people in this community seem to be with RPM, Matty G as well, I think. And so yeah, now I'm part of that as well. So you might see some more things on the channel in the future, such as live streams and stuff, but I haven't really planned it out yet, because I didn't really expect to kind of be accepted. I was just hoping to apply, hoping to maybe be there. But it was very nice to see that I had been accepted, and don't expect any much changes on this channel, content wise or stuff. But yeah, just a bit more in live streams, probably. That's about it really. But seeing as I'm now a partner, I think I need a new banner for this one channel layout thing that we have now, and I'm rubbish at designing on GIMP and all that. So if you're if you're a good designer, I think you're a good designer, and you can put up with me being a bit temperamental on your designs or something, oh, change this a bit, change this a bit, I will be a bit like that. I apologise for that in advance. But if you are a good designer and you think you can design a banner for me, please get in touch, and we'll work things out then. So yeah, that's what's happened to the channel since I've been away, and in the future as well. I'm not really going to upload a lot this month, probably one video a week, and there'll probably be power oversteers, because that's something I enjoy doing, and I haven't really figured out ways to do other gameplays, because I'm not really playing the Xbox since I've gone back. I've still got some come out career for F1 2012, but I might just release those as full races, because I think I've got 16 races to release before, you know, the new F1 2013 comes out. Maybe, probably. They haven't really announced it yet, but yeah, so I've got like 16 races of that first season to release, so I might just release those as full races with like a qualifying that beforehand, and then you'll hear the thoughts from the driver after. You know, he's still working Kev Camelot. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing with Camelot Clear, so let me know if you think if that sounds good, and I might do the odd weekly sprint as well. But I've been playing mainly iRacing, Sim Race Ray, Netcar Pro, installing Richard Burns Rally, so all of these sim games which I never really have recorded before with like fraps or anything, and never really shown on my channel before. But I might start doing that, because those are the games I'm really enjoying at the moment. And I was playing in the Philippines with Netcar Pro on these, like, on the keyboard. It was really difficult, but it was really good fun. So yeah, I might start showing those on the channel. And yeah, I've been catching up on lots of things since I've been away, like the Xbox One, and I've been face farming a lot. That's why my face looks a bit strange. No, but yeah, I've been catching up on those of things. Good to see Tony Kanaan win the Indy 500 finally. You know, one of my favourite drivers in the IndyCar series, and it's great to see him finally win the Indy 500. And there's been Tiregate in F1, and I've been very critical of Pirelli this year, and I think if I talk about that, he's going to go overboard on the criticism of Pirelli and of Mercedes for cheating on F1. How dare they cheat on F1? And yeah, that's going to be an interesting penalties that are going to be applied, I think. So yeah, I've been catching up on those, and sadly in the week that I've been back, it hasn't been a good week for motorsport, sadly. And I came back in time for the Canadian Grand Prix. I thought it was a very dull Canadian Grand Prix, but at the end of that Canadian Grand Prix, it was tragedy when Mark Robinson, a 38-year-old marshal, he was helping retrieve and, you know, transport back Esteban Gutierrez Sauber, crashed in turn 2 late in the race, and unfortunately he got run over and he died from his injuries afterwards. And you know, my thoughts and prayers, just like you gave me, I give them to his family and friends, to his loved ones, because, you know, without marshals, they're like the blood of motorsport. Without them, there's no motorsports events ever. They do these voluntarily. I've considered it. I would do it if I had a car. I would drive every weekend to any circuit, because that, you know, is in your blood basically, and they do it for the love of the sport, and I would do it for the love of the sport. And yeah, you got to remember that, you know, it's not only the drivers that are, you know, in the firing line. Sometimes, you know, marshals have to pick up debris on the edge of the track where, you know, they wave below flags, but the drivers hardly lift, you know, and they're going really fast past these marshals, and you see it in like Singapore where they have to climb the walls and get debris on the edge of the track, and, you know, really choose their moments, and it's really dangerous. But, and, you know, sometimes it actually, you know, they're not as protected as the drivers, and sometimes it gets them. That's why I got them in Monza in 2000, where there was an awful accident in the second chicane, and, you know, a stray wheel hit a marshal. And in 2001, the last death before this one, where I think it was Graham Beveridge, and I apologise if I said that wrong, you know, he got hit by a stray wheel from an accident between Jack Villeneuve and Ralf Schumacher, and, you know, the gap in the fence was like millimeters wider than the wheel. It was really, really unfortunate. And yeah, just thoughts and prayers go out to Mark Robinson's family. And then on Wednesday, we lost a driver. We lost Jason Leffler, or Left Turn as he is known in the NASCAR community, and he was a NASCAR driver, but he died in a sprint race in New Jersey on a 5/8 mile oval. In the last few laps of his race, he was running second, and then his car went in the wall, flipped a few times, and knocked him unconscious, and he died later from his injuries. And again, thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends and to his loved ones, especially to his son. And yeah, and it's just a shame. I mean, it really happens nowadays, these deaths, but when it does, it's quite it's still very shocking. And it just reminds you that no matter how safe you can make a sport, there's still that element, there's still that chance, there's still that way that death can find its way onto the track. As I say, death is always a spectator. You've got to make sure he doesn't get onto the track, but occasionally he does. And yeah, it's sadly claimed Jason left there. As I said, a NASCAR driver, he's mainly raced in NASCAR Nationwide, the second tier, like the GP2 of NASCAR in the last like 10 years, and he's got a couple of wins in there. He got a win in the Camping World Truck Series, which is like the GP3 of NASCAR, and he's been in Sprint Cup, which is like the F1 of NASCAR as well. And he actually started his career in IndyCar in '99 at the Disney Raceway, and his last IndyCar race was actually the 2000 Indianapolis 500 before switching to NASCAR. And he's a very good midget racer as well. In 2003 he got put into the Midget Racing Hall of Fame after 18 wins, I believe, in midget racing. So yeah, great driver, and he seemed like a genuinely good driver from from seeing how people reacted to his death. So yeah, thoughts and prayers go to Jason left it, and thoughts and prayers go to Mark Robinson's loved ones, to all of their loved ones. So yeah, I end this on a somber note, but yeah, it hasn't been the greatest week for motorsport, but I know I'll be back next week, probably with a power oversteer. So I'm out for watching, so till next time, cheerio.